to the shop. My name is Doug. This is my hashtag shop made tools video. This is just something I can get out of the drawers quick. You know, I think I've made, I can't believe I haven't made a lot more in the last 3 years, but I'm sure once I do the video, I'll walk past something in here and, oh, I made that. It always happens. But anyways, let's start out with, I made this Vise Stop. Just goes down in the T-slot and line up, you know, and it's fully adjustable up and down and whatnot. I was going to do a little one for the Vise jaw, but this seems to work fine for anything that I do. So I'll probably just continue to use that for a good while. About 2 years ago, I made this knocker. That's all. It's about 1 inch diameter, a little less. I turned it down. It's stainless, brass, and UHMW. I think I'm going to pull this out and make one out of Delrin, just so the Delrin's a little harder, but this is softer. It destroys. Delrin seems to crack. I have some real hard stuff somewhere that I use for bushings to hold the plasma torch on the table, and because what they made originally got hot and dried out and cracked real bad, and I made another one and it's been in there almost a year and it looks brand new still. So I'll probably make one out of that, and I made it and I've never really used it because I got a little beater over there on the mill. I imagine sometime somewhere along the line I'll probably use it. The old fly cutter, real simple little build. I actually should have offset that a little more to get the leading edge in the center. That's usually how it should be made, but this was probably 2.5 years ago and I didn't really know much, but I do use it and it works great. But like I said, that should have been offset so the leading cut edge would be in the center. Parallels. I've always had just the little tiny set. This set is made, this is made out of A2 and then hardened up to, I think it's 50 Rockwell. And these are the first set I ever made. And then I have this set that I made on my shaper. I've never finished them, but it's just, you can see the finish. It's all from the shaper. I did mill that out, but I squared these up on the shaper. Planned on using them in the vise on it. I just have never finished them. They're ready to be rough ground and then be hardened. But I'll probably drill holes in these too, just to lighten them up. They're pretty heavy. Had this set sitting around for years. I've never hardened them, but as I said, I was going to put holes in them. I was going to put, I think, 3/4 inch holes just to lighten them up. But I hit them with a drill, so I've never finished them. That's a counter bore. You can see the taper up there. But they work good in the shaper vise. I don't have my shaper anymore, but I kept the vise, and I'm going to use that vise on a radial arm drill that I purchased that I haven't got yet. Haven't went and picked it up. Made this spanner wrench. This is for my chuck on my lathe, and it works pretty good. It's 3/16. I was going to make it out of 1/4 inch plate, but I don't think it needed to be that tight because that nut's really not that tight. You could tell where the previous owner before me used a bar or something and a hammer, and it has all the little square points for this spanner to key into. They're all rounded off and beat to hell. So I measured that up and drew this in AutoCAD and burned it out on the plasma table. I did this several years ago. So this would have got burnt out on the plasma table where I worked at the time. First project, the old chuck key. It works because I bought 2 used chucks and none of them had keys, and the chuck that I had on that lathe didn't fit it, so made a chuck key. A lot of this stuff I never videoed because it's just so quick and simple, but I guess I probably should have. So made that. I made a, all my tool post holders. I have like 4 Loris and 4 or 5. Oh, I can't remember what it's called. Dorian. I found a Dorian tool post and holders on Craigslist, probably 2.5, 3 years ago, and I paid. It wasn't much. You could probably buy 3 Chinesium tool holders for what I paid for the tool post, and 4 Aloris holders and 4 or 5 Dorian type holders. And that's a CA. I can't remember what the tool post size is. It's been so long. I've not. But I made several of these. Those. I made that, and then the screws take the wedge, push down on the parting blade, and it holds it real straight because it pulls it back because it's tapered down here, so it can't pop out, and it wedges back and down at the same time and holds it really, really tight. And the boring bar holder, it just bored and slit, and 2 Allen set screws, and that works really well for, and then just some standard holders that I made. Some of my holders were different sizes, so you could see like offsets, for just so I could get. So I didn't have this adjustment, like real high or real low. I kind of got most of the adjustment out of where I put this slot for the tool. So, so I got a lot of them over there that this might be up a little higher, on another one. I just have to pay attention to what holder goes in them, but I don't really ever take them out, so not too worried about that. Lathe Stop, I guess you want to call it. It goes on the V-ways. Just slides down on there, and then that just slides in underneath, and then turn the screw and it tightens it up. And I can adjust it anywhere on the ways, and this really works really well for a stop. Then I got a tool post indicator that I made probably 2.5 years ago or so, when everybody else on YouTube was making them. Like Mr. Pete was making several different kinds or flavors. But that's just aluminum. I use that all the time. Yeah, made my own TIG and MIG gun, you know, holder, magnetic, and then I can put the TIG in there, or my MIG gun for the welder. I've made a couple of these. I got my angle plate vise. It's like 9x9, so it fits my 9-inch table on the mill, and it'll bolt down to it. And I've made a video on this probably, I don't know, a good year ago, year and a half probably. Made that. You know, it went into my oven in the house at 500 degrees for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then came back outside and got wrapped up in some cloth and whatnot to let it cool really slow. I probably didn't get it hot enough to relax. Basically, what I was doing was trying to relax the welds and all the metal. But either the welds are really, really good and tight and it's holding, or, you know, at 500 degrees for an hour and a half, 2 hours, I mean, might have relaxed it enough to where it's not going to move. It is just steel plate, mild steel. I took it to down here in Dayton, Ohio. I'm about 45 minutes from them. Took it to Dayton Blanchard and had it blanch ground on all sides. So it's within, I checked it, it's within the thousands or so from like that corner to, you know, here. And the indicator doesn't move much at all. He took about 30 thousandths off of all sides, and it came out real nice. It's heavy, probably about 25, 30 pounds. All sides are ground. I've used it maybe 3 or 4 times. I've needed it a couple times, but I would have had to drill some holes in here. So I found another way of doing it. I'm just not ready to drill holes in it yet. I mean, you can see where it came out of the oven. It's still black from getting cooked in the oven, and it's never rusted. You can see a little bluing right in through here from it coming out of the oven. Because these sides weren't ground. That's still original. Actually, I made these pieces on the shaper. That piece the hole was cut in the mill, but I got all the angles all done in the shaper. That's why that has the shaper look to it. Oh, it's heavy. And then I tried to make a cylinder square. It's a piece of, I think it's 5-inch tube, and it's 3/8 of an inch thick. I put it in my lathe and was real careful and took a lot of time. You know, I got it down to where it was close, and then took some really light cuts. And when I measured it, it's 8 inches tall, and I'm out of thousandths in 8 inches. So I have another tool that hopefully I'll put on there, and I marked it somewhere. Yeah, this is always the bottom. That's where it was in the chuck, and this side was finished off of this, and this should be, what do you want to call it? It's not parallel, but these are 90 degrees from each other because it was in the jaws this way, getting held. So when I face this off and turn this, so I know this side here always has to go down on a plate for measuring, because all I did was flipped it around and then faced this side off, so I don't know how square it is with this side. So it always goes that direction. And I did this over a year ago, and it's not even rusting yet. It's got a little bit on it, but I hope to have a grinder set up soon to where I can grind this and get it like glass smooth and hopefully take that thousandths out of it. Okay, since I've had the plasma table and this fab table that I built, I needed some squares, so I thought, you know, I really haven't used them that much, but when you need them, boy, these things are nice. I drew these up, all the holes that are in them. This one doesn't have any holes, but this one does. These holes will match my table. The holes in here, they'll match my table, so I can bolt it on, indicate, you know, remove something if it ain't quite square on the table or whatever. And I'm also not saying that these holes are like dead on perfect, you know, measured out, you know, center punch, perfect square, you know, like any of them are really. But that gives me some adjustment. And they're 1/4 inch plate, that's 3 inch. And then I did this one, so this can all a clamp on style. And then I got it so you know, if you go into a corner, you know, you can weld in there. Made this little one. I had a couple oopsie screw ups, so I had made these 2 ends, and these will bolt down to the table, and you can use it to clamp stuff in and whatnot, or lay them like that and bolt them down to the table, and there's a little adjustment. That I've used quite a bit. And then just playing around on AutoCAD one day, you know, I got into a gear program, and then so I drew this up, and then I placed the gears on a piece of plate, and then, you know, and it's fully adjustable to any angle. You know, let me move you a little bit there. Okay. Yeah, it'll do about any angle. You can lay it down if you're going to clamp stuff together, whatever. That's just, I was just messing around, and these are actually pinned and hammer peened in, and that's what it's rotating on, and then these screws here follow that, you know, this, and that's lets you tighten it up at that whatever angle you're doing. So that's, I've used this once. It's pretty nice. But, you know, while I was talking about these, you know, I built this table. It's 1 inch plate, I think. No, it's 3/4 inch plate. All my 1/2 inch holes, have 13, I believe. They're on 5 inch centers. Got shelving underneath. The wood is from my car trailer. I put a new bed on it, but the wood was still okay-ish. I mean, so it's, that stuff there will never rot. Not in here anymore. It's never going to be back outside. It doesn't really catch fire because it's treated. So like if I'm ever welding and sparks and stuff to go down here, it's not going to catch it on fire. it would take a torch laying on it to burn that stuff. But yeah, it's too dark down there, you can't see. But and then underneath right here is a lift table in my floor. I got it raised up right now. It's up a little bit because I when I stand here and work, you know, I need my feet set on it, or I kick whatever's on it. So I got it raised up so my feet go under, just for like a toe kick. So I got it up about 4 inches right now. And I cut the hole in the concrete and then formed it, poured concrete so it's sealed. And then I set the frame of the lift table down in the floor. This lift table will come up to this table height, so if I ever have something big or whatever to work on, I can roll this table out to here and bring that table up and put something on here big. Got my overhead crane. Well, actually the whole building. I built this whole building by myself. I was also like 20, 21 years old when I did it too. But anyway, yeah, I built this building, did all the concrete work myself. I worked for a company that did concrete work and steel buildings. I worked my first job, first steel erection job was in maybe 87, 88. And it was the big addition on the Hera Arena. It's in Dayton and Trotwood. And they put on a huge, that building's probably it's gone now. It got hit by the tornado about 2.5, 3 years ago that we had go through Dayton. And it was one of the buildings that got hit, and it's scattered all over their property now. I don't know, I haven't drove by it in forever, so I don't know if it's been cleaned up or not. I guess shop made tool. I made that heater, wood stove. It's all 1/2 inch plate. I think it's probably 20 inches deep by 16 wide. I didn't need to make it that big, but I did, because it was actually went into my shop when I had my own business years ago, and I had a bigger shop than this, about 10 times the size, so that thing was cooking all day long, you know, and it kept that shop pretty warm. Can't think of anything else that I have actually made. I mean, it's a nice little shop. Oh, here's this other crane. I put this up about 4 or 5 months ago. Built that. And it has a 1-ton hoist on it. And I use that to pick up plate and whatnot for putting on the plasma table. Yeah, I think that's about it. All right, guys, thanks for watching. If you stuck in this long, maybe hit that subscribe button for me if you kind of like the content that I'm putting out. I'm hoping to have a lot more, you know, since I've basically been waiting on my plasma table, me getting used to it, learning how to run it. I mean, I can run it now with my eyes closed, so I'm going to start doing some videos because it is Mach 3. I know there's a ass ton of videos out on YouTube, you know, with Mach 3, and I also use sheet cam. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button for me, maybe a thumbs up, you know, leave a comment. That'd be great. I'll reply to all comments, good or bad. I don't delete nothing. So we'll see you in the next video.